Archangel Michael says, "My precious one, listen closely, for these final moments are not ordinary." The last 1 minute of this message hold a divine touch that can open doors you have long been waiting for. Stay with me, do not move away, because what is about to come could change the story of your life. The light of heaven still burns for every soul that walks upon this earth, even for those who have wandered far from peace and forgotten the voice that once called them home. The message is not of fear, nor of punishment, but of awakening, for time moves quickly, and every heartbeat is a gift given by the hand of the Almighty. There are moments when heaven speaks not in thunder or flame but through a whisper that reaches the human heart, urging it to look upward once more. I come not to frighten, but to remind, that the mercy of God still waits at every door, no matter how long it has been closed. Type 2121 if you trust God's plan for your life. In the stillness of night, when the stars seem distant and the world feels cold, there are angels who keep watch, carrying messages of love, forgiveness, and divine promise. The Father has not forgotten His children, though the world grows darker with confusion and greed, for His love is like an endless river that never ceases to flow, no matter how many stones are cast into its path. He asks not for perfection, but for trust, for faith, for the simple turning of the heart toward Him again, like a child reaching for a parent's hand after being lost in a crowd. Like this video and subscribe to this channel if you are thankful for God's kindness. The emergency that heaven speaks of is not made of fire or destruction, but of hearts that are losing their way, of souls that are drowning in noise and forgetting the quiet truth of love. It is heartbreaking not because God seeks to punish, but because so many have stopped listening to the gentle voice that leads to peace. The riches that the world offers are shadows of the treasures that await those who walk in faith, for the greatest wealth is not gold, nor silver, nor the number in any account, but the unshakable presence of God that fills a heart with light when the world turns to darkness. There is a call that comes before dawn, when the air is heavy with stillness and heaven leans close to whisper, "Return to me." It is not a demand, but an invitation, spoken through the soft beating of your own heart, reminding you that you are not forgotten. The love of Jesus Christ is not a story of the past, it is alive this very moment, reaching into every place where pain hides and fear builds its walls. He comes quietly, not with anger but with compassion, carrying the wounds of the cross as proof that no sin is too great, no mistake too deep, and no sorrow too heavy for His mercy to lift. What if you could unlock a secret brain wave that top scientists discovered inside the hippocampus, the very switch that signals wealth and abundance? Hidden from the public for decades, this breakthrough can rewire your mind to attract prosperity faster than you imagined. Picture the stress of bills replaced with financial freedom and new opportunities. Every delay is a missed blessing, and those who act now are already walking into the wealth you deserve. Step forward before the door closes. Click the link in the video description and comments below to activate this ancient money wave and step into abundance today. Many walk the earth believing they are alone, burdened by the weight of worry, failure, or regret, yet heaven weeps not because they are lost, but because they have forgotten that the door to grace is always open. The angels do not stand with judgment in their eyes but with tears of hope, waiting for the moment when one more soul looks up and says, "Lord, I need you." In that single breath of surrender, heaven rejoices, and the darkness that once seemed endless begins to fade like mist in the morning light. God does not desire to frighten His children into obedience, but to awaken them to the truth that love is the greatest power in all creation. It heals the broken, restores the weary, and brings meaning where there was once only emptiness. Jesus walks beside every suffering soul, even when unseen, carrying the burden so that the heart can remember what freedom feels like. His words still echo through time, not written in stone, but engraved upon the soul of every believer who chooses hope over despair, forgiveness over anger, and love over fear. Type 777 if you walk by faith. If you could see yourself through the eyes of heaven, you would never again doubt your worth, for you were created by hands that shaped galaxies, and yet cared enough to know your name. Every tear that falls is noticed, every prayer is heard, and every act of kindness, no matter how small, lights up the darkness like a candle before the throne of God. The storms that come are not meant to destroy you, but to remind you how strong your spirit is when it clings to faith. The angels stand guard, not to protect from pain, but to guide your heart through it, until it becomes something greater, something eternal. The promise of blessing is not a trick or a test, but a reflection of divine abundance. For those who listen, who open their hearts to heaven's call, will find that grace itself is the richest treasure. The true wealth that God gives cannot be measured by human numbers, for it lives in peace that never leaves, love that never ends, and joy that cannot be stolen by the world. It is a promise of light after darkness, of comfort after grief, and of hope that never fades, no matter how deep the night may seem. When Archangel Michael speaks, he does not come to bring fear, but to awaken faith. He stands as a messenger of the Almighty, calling every heart back to the truth that has always been: God's love is the answer to every storm, His mercy the cure for every wound, and His Son, Jesus Christ, the bridge that leads home. Archangel Michael says, "The heart that aches beneath the surface of your daily life is not hidden from heaven, nor are your silent prayers lost in the wind. The pain that you carry, whether born from loss, betrayal, fear, or loneliness, is seen, known, and held with deep compassion by the one who created you. There are moments when it feels as if everything is falling apart, as though the weight of the world has pressed too hard on your soul, but even then, the love of God surrounds you like a gentle breath, never leaving, never letting go. In times of heartbreak, when the news that enters your home feels unbearable, when sorrow knocks and seems to take more than it gives, remember that even in the breaking, God is close. He does not delight in suffering, nor is He distant when grief comes. He draws near to the broken-hearted, not with words of blame, but with arms wide open, offering comfort that no earthly voice can provide. What the world calls punishment, heaven sees as a call to return, not to be shamed, but to be restored, to be gathered into the arms of the Father who never stops waiting. Even when the world tries to convince you that love is conditional, that you must earn your place, God's love remains steady, never based on perfection, but on His promise. You were made from love, for love, and nothing you've done can ever erase that truth. The tears that stain your pillow are not unseen. The nights you stayed awake, pleading for peace, are not forgotten. Each one is carried by angels straight to the throne of God, who holds them as precious, and answers not always with speed, but always with love. There is a reason why you are still here, still breathing, still searching for meaning. Heaven is not finished with you. The story of your life, no matter how broken it may feel, is still being written by hands that only know how to create beauty from ashes. The pain you feel now will not last forever, though it may seem endless. There will be a sunrise after this night, and when it comes, you will see that your faith was not in vain. What you endure with God will not be wasted. It will shape you into something stronger, something deeper, something more whole. Type 333 to welcome blessings. Sometimes, we are brought low not because God wants to break us, but because in our weakness, we finally allow Him to carry us. We stop trying to fix everything ourselves, and instead, fall into His grace like a child into the arms of someone who has never let them go. That is where healing begins, not in striving, but in surrender, in letting go of the need to understand everything, and trusting that God's plan, though hidden now, is full of purpose and goodness. Heaven's blessings come in many forms. Yes, there is provision, yes, there is favor, yes, there are breakthroughs beyond what your eyes can see right now. But the greatest blessing is knowing you are never alone. Even if the world strips away all you thought you needed, if you still have Jesus, you have everything. The treasures of the earth fade, but the treasure of His presence never fades, never runs dry, never turns away. He is your constant, your quiet strength, your peace in the fire. What if a simple 7-minute sound frequency could awaken a forgotten brain signal designed to pull wealth toward you like a magnet? Backed by shocking CIA files and neuroscience, this discovery is now changing lives everywhere. Think of debts melting away, promotions arriving, and abundance flowing freely. This is the one moment that can rewrite your future, but only if you claim it now, because hesitation will only keep you chained to the same struggles. Click the link in video description and comments below to experience the hidden wealth wave and let your financial destiny shift in your favor today. You may wonder if it's too late, if you've missed your chance. If the wounds are too deep, the wrong choices too many. But I tell you this from the heart of heaven, it is never too late to come home. The Father runs to meet those who return. He doesn't wait at the door with a list of failures, but with tears of joy, ready to embrace, to heal, to restore all that has been lost. He doesn't see you as broken beyond repair, but as someone worth redeeming. Not because you've earned it, but because love never gave up on you. The road ahead may still be hard, and there may be more storms to pass through, but you won't be walking alone. With every step, the Spirit of God walks beside you. With every burden, Jesus lifts what you cannot carry. With every fear, His light shines just bright enough to take the next step. And though the path may be narrow, it leads to a life more beautiful than anything the world could ever offer. Hold on, not because you are strong, but because God's strength will not let you fall. Trust, not because you see the way clearly, but because the one leading you never makes mistakes. Rest, not because the world is calm, but because the storm obeys His voice. And above all, love, deeply, fearlessly, constantly, because love is the very heartbeat of heaven, and it never fails. Archangel Michael says, "Heaven sees what your eyes cannot, and feels what your heart struggles to carry." There is no pain too quiet, no fear too hidden, and no regret too old for God's love to reach and heal. Though this world may deliver news that shakes the foundation of your peace, and moments may come when it feels like your heart has been shattered into pieces too small to gather, still, the Lord is not far away. In the most broken places of your life, He is closest, gently gathering every piece, not to remind you of what you've lost, but to begin the slow, holy work of making you whole again. There is something sacred in those moments when everything seems to fall apart. Though the world may call it ruin, heaven often sees the very beginning of transformation. What feels like the end may only be the turning of a page, the quiet unfolding of a new season that has been written in grace long before the storm ever arrived. The pain you feel now does not mean you are being punished, and your suffering is not evidence that you are forgotten. In fact, it is often in the darkness that your soul is prepared to hold more light than it ever knew was possible. Type 1212 if you believe God is guiding you. God does not watch your tears from a distance. He steps into the fire with you, just as He did when He walked this earth through His Son. Jesus did not avoid suffering, He walked through it so that when you walk through your own, you would never have to do it alone. He is not above your grief, He is within it, turning every ache into an invitation to deeper faith, deeper hope, and deeper love. What feels unbearable now will, in time, bear the marks of healing, and you will look back and see not just the pain, but the presence of the one who never left your side. It is easy to be afraid when life changes suddenly, when something precious is taken, or when the road ahead is hidden by fog. But do not be afraid. God does not send fear, He sends peace. And peace is not the absence of trouble, but the assurance that, no matter what happens, you are held. When you don't know what to do next, when the world expects strength you don't have, heaven simply asks you to rest in the love that has carried generations before you and will carry generations after you. That love is unshaken. It is the same today as it was yesterday, and it will remain, even when everything else feels uncertain. The voice of the enemy will try to whisper lies to your heart, lies that say you are being punished, that you are alone, that you are too far gone. But those are not the words of God. The voice of your Father is tender, steady, and full of mercy. He speaks life over you. He reminds you that your story is still being written, and that no amount of pain or failure can separate you from His love. Even now, He is making a way through what seems impossible. Even now, He is moving in places you cannot see, preparing beauty to rise from the ashes. When the blessings of heaven come, they often do not look like what we expect. Sometimes, they arrive in the form of strength to get through one more day. Sometimes, they look like an unexpected moment of peace in the middle of chaos. And yes, there are also times when abundance floods into your life, not as a reward, but as a sign that God provides in ways only He can. He knows what you need, even before you ask. And though the world puts value in numbers and riches, the true treasure is found in knowing Him, in walking with Him, and in becoming more like Him through every joy and every trial. If you are weary, it's okay. Heaven sees your tired spirit. You don't have to pretend to be strong. You don't have to have it all together. Just come as you are, tired, unsure, even broken, and bring your heart to the one who made it. He does not ask you to earn your healing. He simply asks you to open the door, even just a little, so that He can enter with His peace, His comfort, and His healing touch. What begins as a whisper of surrender can grow into a song of hope that carries you through the hardest days. There is a reason why love never gives up. There is a reason why faith keeps rising, even when everything seems to fall. It is because God never stops working in you. He never stops believing in who you are, even when you have stopped believing in yourself. He created you not to live in fear, but in freedom. Not to be buried by your past, but to rise into a future shaped by grace. And no matter how dark the night, the light of Jesus is stronger, reaching even the deepest shadows with the warmth of healing love. Type 888 to open doors of abundance. Archangel Michael says, there are times when the heaviness in your spirit feels too much to carry, when the noise around you makes it hard to hear anything gentle, and the weight of everything unknown presses too deeply into your chest. In those moments, when the tears refuse to stop and peace feels distant, I need you to remember this: God is not only near, He is already at work, silently moving through every broken piece of your life, quietly restoring what the world cannot. Heaven's ways are not loud. They are not rushed or careless. They come softly, like the breeze that passes through trees in the early morning, like the quiet sigh of a child resting in safety. God does not force Himself into your life. He waits patiently, lovingly, until you are ready to let Him hold what you were never meant to carry alone. And when you do, when you finally place your pain, your fear, and your dreams into His hands, something begins to change, not always on the outside, but deeply within, where true healing begins. What if the missing piece to financial success wasn't luck, but a hidden frequency inside your brain waiting to be switched on? Once activated, this ancient signal unleashes waves of prosperity, opening doors to opportunities you never thought possible. From sudden windfalls to long-awaited breakthroughs, it's transforming lives daily. Want to see how? Click the link in the video description and comments below to tap into the money magnet brain wave and begin your journey today. Others are already awakening this hidden signal and watching their lives transform. Do not be the one left behind while abundance passes you by. You may think you are being overlooked, as if your prayers have vanished into silence, but nothing you whisper to God goes unheard. Every time you've cried in secret, every time you've hoped in the dark, every time you've chosen to keep going even when your heart was breaking, Heaven has seen it all. And not a single moment was wasted. Each of those quiet acts of faith, each fragile breath of trust, is a seed planted in God's garden of promise, and one day, what once felt buried by sorrow will rise in full bloom. It is not wrong to feel weary. It is not weak to feel afraid. These are not signs of failure, but signs that you are human, deeply loved by the one who understands your every emotion because He felt them too. Jesus walked this earth with a heart that broke for others, with tears that fell for those in pain, and with love so deep that He chose the cross rather than leave you without a way back to the Father. His suffering was not just a moment in time, it was the bridge that allows grace to reach you wherever you are. And grace, when it arrives, doesn't always look like immediate rescue. Sometimes it looks like strength you didn't know you had. Sometimes it's the right words coming at the right time. Sometimes it's simply knowing, deep in your bones, that you are still loved, even when everything around you feels uncertain. That kind of grace doesn't expire, and it doesn't depend on how much faith you think you have. It flows freely, because God is not limited by your doubts. He meets you in them, and walks with you through every valley. Type Amen if you believe in God's love, and share this inspiring video with 7 friends to open the way for blessings and miracles. There are blessings prepared for you, more than you can imagine, and they are not locked behind your perfection. They are born from God's goodness, not your performance. He longs to pour into your life the kind of peace that quiets storms, the kind of joy that shines through sorrow, and the kind of hope that doesn't make sense to the world. These blessings may not always come wrapped in gold, but they are richer than anything you could ever buy. They are found in healing, in renewal, in waking up one day and realizing your soul feels lighter, your heart feels steadier, and your trust feels stronger. You do not have to understand everything right now. You do not need to have all the answers. God is not asking you to figure it all out. He is only asking you to trust Him, one small step at a time. There is no deadline on His mercy. There is no expiration date on His promises. He sees where you are, and He knows exactly what you need, not just for today, but for what's coming tomorrow and the days beyond. He is already there, preparing the way, making crooked paths straight, calming the winds you haven't even felt yet. Type 1010 if you trust in God's timing. And when it feels like everything is against you, when the world's noise grows louder and fear tries to steal your breath, you can still find shelter in Him. The name of Jesus is a refuge. Speak it when you don't know what else to say. Whisper it when your heart is trembling. Say it over the pain, over the questions, over your home, over your family. That name carries healing, protection, and peace. That name is your anchor when the storm won't stop. Remember this, the story of your life is not over. Whatever news the world brings, however hard it hits, it is not the final chapter. The author of your soul is still writing, still creating beauty out of brokenness, still holding you with gentleness and strength. You may not see the ending yet, but you are being held through every page. Even now, angels are around you, watching, protecting, guiding you closer to the life God designed for you, not a life without hardship, but one overflowing with grace. Archangel Michael says, when your world begins to shift beneath your feet, and everything you once held close feels like it's slipping through your hands, do not be afraid. Even when it feels like a season of loss or confusion has come knocking at your door, the truth remains unchanged. God is still with you, and He is not silent in your suffering. His heart is moved by your pain, and His love is not shaken by your doubts, your flaws, or your fears. There are some trials that arrive like sudden storms, without warning, rattling everything in their path. They come with hard news, painful changes, or moments that seem too heavy to bear. But even in those moments, especially in those moments, heaven draws near. Not to explain away the pain, but to walk with you through it, step by step, without rushing your healing, without expecting you to be strong when you're just trying to breathe. Jesus knows what it means to be overwhelmed. He knows what it feels like to cry in the dark, to carry the weight of sorrow, and to love people who don't always understand. He has walked every road of human pain, and because of that, He offers not just comfort but true companionship in your darkest hours. He is not watching from far above. You are never going through anything alone. His Spirit surrounds you even now, closer than the air you breathe, closer than your next heartbeat. There will be moments when you're tempted to believe the lies, that this is the end, that you're being punished, that God has turned His face away. But those lies crumble in the presence of truth. And the truth is this: you are still deeply loved, even in the middle of your storm. You are still chosen, still carried, still precious in the eyes of the one who shaped you in love before your first breath. There is nothing you can go through that will make him give up on you. Not heartbreak. Not failure. Not fear. Not even silence. Sometimes, God allows the breaking to happen not because He wants to harm you, but because He wants to remove what is hurting you in ways you couldn't see. There are things that must fall away so you can rise into who He always created you to be. That kind of transformation is never easy. It feels like fire. It feels like confusion. But it is holy. It is purposeful. And it is leading you closer to healing, closer to peace, closer to the kind of life that no storm can ever steal again. Type 1414 to step into divine protection. You were not made to live in constant fear of what might go wrong. You were created to live in peace, to walk in hope, to rise each morning knowing that God is already ahead of you, working things together in ways your heart can't yet imagine. That doesn't mean life will be easy. It doesn't mean you'll always feel strong. But it means you'll never be without help, never without hope, never without the steady presence of Jesus, holding your heart even when you can't hold anything else. There may be blessings waiting for you, yes, real ones, that seem impossible right now. You may have prayed for years, waited in silence, wondered if God had forgotten you. But He hasn't. What He promises, He finishes. And sometimes, the blessings arrive not as loud celebrations, but as quiet miracles, unexpected peace, surprising provision, restored relationships, doors that open when you thought they were sealed shut. They are coming, not because you've earned them, but because His love is faithful, and His mercy is wider than your understanding. What if you discovered a tiny, walnut-sized brain region holds the secret to endless wealth and success? Recently uncovered by groundbreaking research and once buried in classified files, this frequency is now available to anyone ready to listen. Imagine replacing worry and struggle with a life of financial ease and freedom. Interested? Click the link in video description and comments below to unleash this hidden brain wave and start attracting wealth right now. You have been guided to this message for a reason, and if you turn away, the chance may not return. This is your time to step in. When your hands are empty, lift them anyway. Not to pretend you're okay, but to offer what little you have, your pain, your questions, your trembling hope. God takes those offerings with tenderness. He doesn't need your strength. He simply wants your heart. And when you give it to Him, even bruised and tired, He begins the quiet work of filling it again, gently, patiently, with joy that returns, with peace that surprises, with purpose that reminds you, you are still here for a reason. You are not forgotten. You are not too late. You are not beyond repair. The door to healing is still open. The road to restoration is still ahead. And the hands that hold the heavens are reaching for you now, not to pull you into fear, but to draw you into love deeper than anything this world could ever offer. Archangel Michael says, there are moments in life when the road ahead disappears into shadow, when all that once felt certain begins to unravel, and the future grows quiet and unknown. In these moments, when everything inside you cries out for a reason or a rescue, God speaks gently, not always with answers, but always with presence. He may not always remove the storm right away, but He will never let it take you without first covering you in grace. The love of the Father doesn't fade when you're confused. It doesn't grow distant when you're tired. It holds you even tighter when the light around you begins to dim. God does not love you more on the good days or less on the hard ones. His love isn't built on what you do or fail to do, it's built on who He is, and He is unchanging. He is mercy, He is compassion, He is hope, and His love for you remains steady, even when your own heart feels uncertain. When the weight of the world arrives at your door, and the air in your home feels heavy with sorrow or fear, don't let despair write the ending. There is more to come. The enemy wants you to believe that pain is your destiny, that brokenness is all that's left for you. But the truth is that even in the middle of heartbreak, God is preparing something beautiful. Not to replace what you've lost, but to redeem what has been broken and bring it back to life in a way that only heaven can. Healing doesn't always look like a sudden miracle. Sometimes, it's a slow softening of your heart after you thought it had turned to stone. Sometimes, it's the courage to get up one more time, to say one more prayer, to take one more breath in faith even when nothing around you seems to change. That kind of healing is quiet, but it is deep. It builds you into someone who can carry peace through the storm, someone who can still love, still hope, still give even after everything has been shaken. Type 666 if you believe in God's grace. Your pain is not a sign that God is angry with you. It is not a punishment. It is not proof that you are forgotten. The cross reminds us that suffering is not the end of the story. Jesus suffered, not so we wouldn't, but so that when we do, we can look at Him and know we are never walking through it alone. He carries wounds too. And He uses them, not just to save, but to comfort, to show us that even the darkest night has a dawn. There is a kind of strength you only discover in weakness, a kind of peace that only arrives when you've run out of answers and let go of the need to fix everything yourself. That's where grace lives. That's where the Spirit meets you, not in perfection, but in surrender. And when you come with empty hands, God fills them, not with everything you thought you needed, but with everything He knows will carry you forward. There are treasures waiting for you, not just in heaven, but here, even now. Not just riches of the world, but treasures of the heart, freedom from fear, clarity of purpose, rest in your soul, joy that no sorrow can erase. And yes, there may also be material blessings, surprising provision, unexpected breakthroughs. But even more than those, God longs to give you peace that doesn't break, love that doesn't fail, and hope that doesn't fade when life gets hard. If you feel far away from God right now, if your heart is tired and your faith feels thin, you haven't failed. You're still His. You're still beloved. He's not asking you to rise with strength you don't have. He's simply asking you to let Him meet you where you are. To bring your sadness, your guilt, your fear, and your dreams to Him, not polished or fixed, but honest. He delights in your honesty. And He moves through your humility. There is no shame in needing Him. That's where everything beautiful begins. The angels are not distant from your struggle. They are near, watching over your steps, guiding you gently through seasons you don't yet understand. They are not sent to threaten, but to protect. They are not messengers of fear, but carriers of God's love. Even now, they move through your life, unseen but faithful, reminding you with every quiet nudge that you are not walking alone. Heaven is closer than you think. Archangel Michael says, "You may not understand why certain things happen the way they do, and it's okay if you don't. You were never meant to carry the weight of every answer, or to figure out every twist and turn of life. That's not where your strength comes from. Your strength comes from knowing, deep in your soul, that even in the most confusing and painful times, God remains who He says He is. He is still faithful, still watching over you, still leading you, even when it feels like you're walking through the shadows. When news comes into your home that feels like a storm, shaking the walls of your peace and stirring up memories you've tried to bury, remember this: God doesn't leave you to face it alone. He doesn't step back when things get hard. He draws closer. His Spirit fills the space between the hurt and the healing, holding you in ways no one else can. He is not disappointed in your sadness. He understands it. And He sits with you in it until you're strong enough to rise again. Type 1919 to embrace healing. There is a sacredness in the silence after sorrow, in the long pauses between questions and comfort. You may not hear answers right away, but that doesn't mean heaven is quiet. God is speaking through every breath you take, every sunrise that still greets you, every heartbeat that reminds you, you're still here for a reason. And that reason is not just to endure. It's to be healed. It's to live again. It's to walk through the fire and come out with a heart that knows peace more deeply than before. Sometimes, what you think is a punishment is really protection. Sometimes, what you call loss is actually preparation. You may feel like everything has fallen apart, but maybe, just maybe, it's falling into place in a way you can't yet see. God's hand is never absent. His timing is never off. What feels delayed to you may be perfectly placed by Him. He is not late, and He is not silent. He is preparing something holy, even if it's hidden for now. Your journey has not been forgotten. Your name is still written on the heart of the Father. There has never been a day where heaven has turned its eyes away from you. Through every mistake, every tear, every quiet moment where you felt too broken to even pray, He was there. And He never once gave up on you. Not once. You are still worthy of love. Still worthy of joy. Still capable of receiving more than what life has taken from you. There is provision waiting for you, not just in material form, but in the deeper places, where your heart has longed for peace, where your mind has been tormented by worry, where your soul has begged for rest. God sees every part of you, not just the surface. And He gives in ways that reach further than this world's definition of blessing. He knows exactly what you need to feel whole again. And He is already preparing to give it, in His way, at the perfect time. What if I told you financial freedom is not about working harder, but activating a dormant brain signal designed to draw abundance directly to you? Neuroscience proves this sound wave unlocks prosperity faster than any method known before. From unexpected cash to life-changing success, it's already helping thousands. Imagine looking back tomorrow wishing you had acted today. Do not let regret replace the miracle that is calling you right now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on the ancient money wave and create the life you've always dreamed of today. You don't need to earn it. You don't need to fix yourself first. You don't need to explain why you feel the way you do. Just bring your tired heart to Him. Lay it down, with all its pieces. Let go of the fear that you're not enough. Let go of the thought that you've missed your chance. Nothing is ever wasted in God's hands. Not time, not pain, not even the moments you regret most. He uses it all, reshaping it into something redemptive, something beautiful, something eternal. And if you've been praying for a breakthrough, if your heart has been quietly waiting for a miracle, know this: it is not too late. The very fact that you are still here, still hoping, still reaching for light, is proof that something sacred is still unfolding. The road ahead may be longer than you thought, but every step is guided by grace. Every obstacle is seen. Every need is known. And the answers, when they come, will not just meet your needs, they will overflow with goodness, because God always gives more than we expect. Angels are near, even now. You may not see them, but they are there, standing quietly at your side, holding back what was never meant to touch you, whispering reminders of truth when fear tries to speak louder. They are not watching from a distance. They are close, because heaven knows this moment in your life matters. What you're going through is not small to God. It is seen. It is sacred. And it will not be left unfinished. Type 222 if you know God is with you. Archangel Michael says, "The road you walk has not been easy, and though you've smiled through pain and spoken hope through trembling lips, heaven has heard the quiet cries beneath your strength. Every step you've taken, even the ones that felt small or slow, has been watched with love by the Father who never lets you walk alone. The world may not see how hard it's been for you to keep believing, to keep holding on, to keep hoping when everything inside you felt unsure, but God sees. And not only does He see, He cares with a depth far greater than anything you've ever known. Some days come with burdens you never expected. Unexpected news, aching disappointments, the slow fading of what once brought joy. And while the world may offer empty words or distractions, the heart still longs for something deeper, something eternal. That longing, that ache you feel in your soul, is not weakness. It is the reminder that you were created for more than this temporary pain. You were created to know the love of God in a way that carries you through even the hardest seasons. The heartbreak that enters your life does not catch heaven off guard. It is not evidence of failure, and it is not a sign that you've been left behind. The truth is, some of the most powerful healing begins in the middle of our greatest sorrow. God does not cause every tear, but He catches each one. He bends low to meet you in the ashes, not to scold or shame you, but to lift you gently, one piece at a time, until the weight that crushed you becomes the foundation of something new. His love is not fragile. It does not give up when you're tired, and it does not retreat when you're angry or afraid. It stays. It waits. It reaches. It continues to wrap itself around you when you've run out of strength to hold on. There is no place you can go that His grace won't follow. And even when you feel like you've failed too many times, even when your faith feels threadbare and worn out, His promise remains the same: I will never leave you. If you've been carrying shame, if you've been trying to earn your way back into peace, I want you to hear this clearly: you don't have to. Jesus didn't die to give you a life of striving. He gave everything so that you could live in freedom. Not the kind of freedom that ignores pain, but the kind that walks through it with healing in its hands. A freedom that breaks chains of guilt and replaces them with grace. A freedom that tells you, you are loved as you are, even while you're still healing. There are blessings prepared for you, not as rewards for perfection, but as gifts from the heart of a father who delights in seeing his children walk in joy. And yes, there may be breakthroughs ahead that you can't see yet. Yes, there may be miracles coming that will turn sorrow into dancing. But even before those moments arrive, know that the greatest treasure you can carry is the presence of God within you. His Spirit, gentle and constant, is what gives your heart strength to keep going when the way forward is hidden. Type 1515 to receive peace in your soul. If the road you're walking feels too long, if the days blur together with grief or loneliness, let this be your comfort: heaven is not finished. What looks like the end may only be the middle. God is still planting seeds beneath the soil of your sorrow. He is still writing beauty into the spaces that feel barren. And though you may not see the fruit yet, you will, when the time is right, when the season turns, when the healing takes root and blooms. The angels that surround you are not idle. They move with purpose, guarding your path, guiding your spirit, whispering reminders of truth when fear tries to close in. You are not walking into darkness. You are walking through it. And on the other side, there is light that cannot be dimmed, joy that cannot be shaken, and love that cannot be lost. This promise is not just for someone else. It is for you. For your heart. For your story. There is no shame in feeling broken. There is no shame in needing help. God did not design you to carry everything alone. And the blessing of surrender is not weakness, it is where true strength begins. When you lift your heart, trembling though it may be, and say, God, I need you, heaven answers with open arms. Not with conditions. Not with lectures. But with love, immediate and unconditional. Archangel Michael says, though the journey you're walking may feel lonely at times, you are not unseen, and you are certainly not forgotten. The shadows that sometimes creep into your heart, whispering that no one understands what you're facing, are lying to you. Because even when no one else sees the weight you carry, heaven sees it. God knows the exact depth of your pain, the unspoken prayers you've tucked away in silence, and the longing that never quite leaves your chest. And His love is wrapped around you in every single breath you take. There is a kind of sorrow that doesn't speak loudly. It simply settles into the quiet corners of your life, lingering behind your eyes, woven into your thoughts, resting inside your chest like something too tender to touch. But even there, in the most silent ache, God is near. He is not waiting for you to say the perfect words. He's not asking you to be stronger than you feel. He's already close, already moving, already covering you with mercy that goes deeper than your pain. If you've been wondering whether things will ever feel whole again, know this: healing is already unfolding inside you, even if it's slower than you hoped. Some wounds don't close in a single moment. Some healing is layered, quiet, sacred. But just because it's slow doesn't mean it's not real. God is not rushed. He does not grow impatient with your pace. He stays with you through every stage, through every question, through every doubt that rises and falls like waves inside your soul. And still, He calls you by your name, not your failure, not your past, not your fear. Just your name. Spoken with kindness, full of compassion, and marked by the truth that you belong to Him. You are not defined by the seasons that broke you. You are not measured by the things you lost or the people who walked away. You are defined by the love that formed you, and the grace that is still at work, shaping something new even from the ruins. Type 1616 if you surrender to God's will. There may be days when nothing makes sense, when the pain outshouts the promise, when the struggle feels endless, and when hope feels like it's slipping further and further away. But that is not the end of your story. Even in those moments, God is sowing peace into your spirit. You may not feel it yet, but one day you will look back and see that He never stopped carrying you, even when you didn't realize He was holding you at all. Sometimes, the most powerful blessing is not a sudden miracle or a dramatic rescue. Sometimes, it's simply waking up with a heart that feels just a little lighter. It's hearing a kind word when you need it most. It's the strength to take another step when yesterday you were sure you couldn't. These quiet blessings, these soft touches of grace, are signs that God has not turned away. He is still pouring out love, not just when things go right, but right in the middle of everything that feels wrong. And yes, there may be provision ahead that you never expected. Yes, the door you thought was shut forever may open again. Yes, there may be answers you've been praying for that finally arrive in ways more beautiful than you imagined. But even before those things come, even now, there is treasure in this moment. There is purpose in this season. There is goodness growing in the soil of your pain. Don't rush past it. Don't give up on it. God is still working. The angels have not left you. They are with you, walking softly through the days that feel too quiet, holding space for your healing, and guarding the edges of your life where fear tries to sneak in. You may feel forgotten by the world, but you are remembered in heaven. You may feel like everything is slipping through your fingers, but you are being held. You are not waiting alone. You are not suffering in silence. There is movement in the Spirit, even if you can't see it yet. Archangel Michael says, even when everything around you feels uncertain, even when the weight of waiting becomes harder to carry with each passing day, there is a quiet promise that remains unshaken: God has not left you. He has not overlooked your pain. He has not turned away from your brokenness, and He will not let your story end in despair. The silence you sometimes feel is not the absence of His love, but the space where He is preparing something deeper, something lasting, something more beautiful than you can yet understand. What if everything you've been chasing, wealth, freedom, success, could be drawn to you automatically, simply by unlocking a secret brain wave hidden inside you? Once classified by intelligence agencies, this discovery is now available to the public, and it's changing lives instantly. Picture yourself debt-free, stress-free, and thriving. The window is open, but not forever, and every second you wait is wealth slipping from your hands, so grasp it now. Click the link in video description and comments below to awaken this money magnet frequency and watch abundance flow into your life today.